Hello. See a few are on here. I am working on the one I shared with you yesterday. Just playing around a little bit. My lighting is not too good today. That darn sunshine's not out. Hi, Nancy. Hey, Kelly. It unfortunately is not sunny here today. I got my light. We'll see if that helps. It's not raining, though, and they were calling for rain all day. So that's, I'll take that as a win. I got most of the day without rain. My dogs refuse to go out when it's raining. They do I say they do a Yui when you open up that door and they see the rain because they don't like to get wet. All right, I have 401. Bear with me 1 minute. No, we didn't. Blue Angels and Thunderbirds fly. No, were they flying over local, Nancy? Like local Pennsylvania? All right. Kind of heard my puppy dog coming upstairs. I was waiting to see if he was gonna come. I like to meet him and carry him up because he's a little too old to be going up all those steps. Oh, they were supposed to go over Pennsylvania today. Anybody else know that? The Blue Angels and Thunderbirds were supposed to fly over somewhere in PA today. My husband probably knows that. But he is not home. He got called into work today. I'll have to check on that, Nancy. That's interesting. I haven't heard anything. I think the most I heard yesterday, we have a fireworks plant by us and they were testing fireworks yesterday. So we heard a couple booms, but that's the most excitement we've had here in a while. Oh, that's cool. Very cool. I think we'll get started. So here's a little review of what we did yesterday. And here's the one, I don't know if it's finished, but I started it and I just wanted to share with you guys that we don't always have to have a straight border. It can be a little curved. You can have a little bit of fun and use a tangle for your edge instead of having a straight edge. So show me those designs. Show me what you're doing. I hope you're using these once I'm showing you some patterns and designs. So I'm going to hop on to my next page. Ironically enough, I already have a border drawn in. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. That's pretty big. Let's see. I'm going to break it in half and give myself a string there. And as a matter of fact, let me see. I'm going to break it in 3. So I'm going to do a design today by showing you some designs. The first one we're going to do, I'll do front and center. Dyon? Dyon. We'll say Dyon. The other one doesn't sound so nice. This is kind of a fun one. And you might want to practice it in a square. I'm going to go a little more challenging today. So if you're doing yours in a square, line straight up and down, line straight across, And we're going to draw an X through that and give us a pizza pie. This one's kind of fun. We can add a little shading and give it a little dimension. So once you have your area drawn, sketched out, I'll give you a second here to catch up. I have 3 designs I'll share with you today, and the other 2 just a little time consuming, as is this one. So we're going to create like a flower shape in the center. Doesn't have to be perfect. Kelly, you're here. I'm going to try not to use my eraser today, but I can't make any promises. I already want to use it. It's a difficult thing to do. So that's our first line. And then essentially, we're just going to repeat that. Okay? With a series of curved lines. So in this case, I'm going to carry this one out. And you could stay smaller. You could go a little wider. It's all on your preference and what you want to do. But make sure I still am in my viewing area here. So carry those curved lines. Just keep on repeating. Now, if you wanted to have a little bit of fun, you could use colored pencil. You could use marker. If you don't have those, you could use crayon. Micron pens even come in color if you're ambitious. And I'm going to carry this one out because of spacing. So that is pretty much it. Now, if you wanted to add a little dimension to it, real light pressure here, you could shade where your lines are. And for those of you who are new, real light, I'm kind of just doing a real light section on each side of the initial lines that we drew. Let me see where I want to go next. I'll do this one. Okay. So I started that, and if you don't have any drawing tools, I did order what we call a tortillon. They're a blending and shading tool specifically for drawing. You can see I tested it out there. What you do is you can take that tool and you can blend your pencil out a little bit. Now I'm going to be blending a little bit of those lines just because I use pencil for it, but if you did it in micron pen or marker, what I would do is go in and real light and just make sure those edges are darker. Now you can always go in and draw those lines in again. If you want it a little darker there, you can go in and make it a little darker. Now, I don't expect you to have a tortillon, so what I have been doing is just taking a little piece of tissue. I just keep one here at my desk so I can rip it up and use it. I've been teaching some drawing classes for St. Francis, so I've been showing people how to do that because, you know, my goal for these classes was to have supplies that you have at home. So that's why we're using paper and pencil. But anyway, I twisted up my tissue nice and tight, and then I just kind of fold it over. Hi, Jamie. How are you? So I just folded it over. It's not as good as the tortillon, but honestly, for bigger detail, it's perfectly fine. And it can do the same thing as that tortillon. See, blends it. Actually, and that's a bigger space, so it looks a little better. So if you wanted to add some dimension to your Zentangles, you could certainly do that. That actually looks really good on the screen. I'm pleasantly surprised. So you could go and do that the rest of the way around if you'd like. If you just wanted to experiment and try something a little different. So that's it. That is that tangle. And we will move on to another one. And I'm going to go in this section right here. So again, if you want, you can draw just a square border for yourself. I just decided to try something a little different today. So our next one, they make some of these so difficult to even say. Chainging, I'm guessing. And you will see why in a second. So my area is triangular. So I'm going to start at what my top would be. And our first step is to create a double curved line or parallel line. And then the next one comes on the other side, and you can carry it down just a little bit. Again, not perfect, but you try to keep them as parallel as you can. And then you come up here and carry your line down. And well, I'm already confused, guys. See, sometimes they're a little difficult. What I did, Kelly, I'm using my eraser. Shame on me. I made mine too long. So you're kind of carrying these lines through, but they're overlapping in a sense. So that Kelly, you're funny. I don't know what I'd do. I'm like one of those people, if you tell me I can't do something, then I have to do it. Like, don't touch the button, and then I touch the button. So, sorry, guys. You just kind of keep going with your lines. And again, I only practiced this one once, so you can just see why you should practice them more than once. I usually try to do them 2 or 3 times before I get to you guys. But you just keep repeating that. Oh, and I broke my pencil. And bring it down. That is it. Now, if you wanted to have a little bit of fun, Kelly, you're making me laugh. We did talk about adding an aura to our tangles. Let me see if I can find an example quick. I got all these like tangle patterns up here. There we go. And I'm bumping my phone. Here was one that I shared. So an aura is when you create what I like to say is a halo effect around your tangle. So here I did 2 versions. Here's our flux design, this cool leafy organic tangle. And I know, Kelly, I tell you, the struggle was real today. It's the one we're working on right now, this changing, it's kind of difficult. But if you wanted to add an aura to it, I did multiple auras here. And here was one I shared the other day, maybe yesterday. Today's only Tuesday. And I did it, on black paper with white pencil. But I rotated, my colors just to make it pop a little bit. So one thing you can do for this changing is you can add an aura to it. Okay. Mine started out a little crooked. You could also color. Oh, it looked away. You could also color in between those lines to give it a little dimension. Yeah, that's a difficult one. If we tried it again. I don't think I'm doing it any better. Yeah, that's a difficult one. We could practice again. You know, I think you start out smaller and then, like I think what I should have done was brought this over. I don't know. I think I messed up there too, guys. See, this is why we practice. Yeah, it's I know I did something wrong there. I mean, the other thing that you could do is not do it. Boy, that's terrible. I don't even know where to go here. I keep losing my pencil. Yeah. I don't know. Hold on one second, guys. Oh, my old puppy was coming upstairs. Yeah, this one definitely takes some practice. I apologize, guys. I did it better the first time than I did Actually, I did it better the second time than I did the first time. Or third time. But, yeah, this is just one that would warrant some practice. I think the key is to bring that second set of lines out a little farther. And you're almost like overlapping. It's looking a little better. That one's a little better. Just practice that one. You know, it's difficult, and if I can offer any advice, you know, start with a shorter set of lines and then make the second set a little longer, because you're essentially overlapping all of those. So, you know, I don't know that they're not meant to be perfect and not meant to be super difficult, but meant to be able to give you some really cool design patterns and ideas if you need them. So that's that one. Okay. Our last one. Kelly, I don't know if you're going to like this one either. I do, and I actually did a version of it when we first started. Let's see if I can find it here quickly. The nice thing about doing this in my sketchbook is I have a nice little journal now, or book of tangles that I can refer to. So I guess a little reference book for Zentangles. So we did this one probably our second day. And this is similar to the one we're going to be learning today. But here we did diagonals, verticals, and horizontals. Here we're just doing verticals and horizontals. So I have a little cheat method that I'm going to share with you guys. You know, and I do it very light. I was looking for my notes and I can't find them. I've been working on a grant all morning, so I'm a little frazzled. I'm just trying to get it done. So I have a very large triangle that I'm working with, and I'm only going to work in a section of it, but for something like this, when I want to keep it like nice and even, I give myself really light rose to work with. I found my notes under all my stuff. You know, so for anybody that's joining in now, I know I see a couple new people. We're doing Zentangles, which is the art of drawing structured patterns to create beautiful artwork. And, you know, it can be very therapeutic and relaxing, which is one reason why I chose to do this for my class. You guys want to hear something funny? I have a puppy that is very angry and wants to eat. So you might hear some whining. Dinner time is 5 o'clock, but they start about 3:30, hoping to get fed early. So back to this Keeko. What we do is I might give myself another cross section here of lines. And notice how I'm just going real light. Real light. Give myself a bunch of squares. And now, oh, these pets, I'll tell you. My pug, he has the most amazing tummy timer. He got me out of bed this morning because he wanted breakfast, and my husband wasn't here to give him an early breakfast like he wanted. So at 7 o'clock, he was walking on me. So start by a set of vertical lines. I'm doing 3. I'm going to try and keep it like nice and neat and big. And then what I want you to do is give me 3 horizontals. Okay? And then repeat. So it's much easier, I think, if you give yourself guidelines. Just sometimes it just takes the guesswork out of it, especially when you get some of these crazy patterns and you're like, oh my goodness, where do I go now? So in this case, if you have some guidelines, I think it makes things a little easier. So I'm just doing every other one, and I'm doing opposite of what I did right next to it. Now, yesterday when we did some distorted or deconstructed tangles, meaning, you know, we went from something very nice and neat to kind of unorganizing it and shaping it and bending it a little, if you will. Guidelines could help kind of keep you on track if you do that. So that's why we like to. And besides, you do them real nice and light. You can't even see them there. So I'm going to do this row. And hi, Marion. Thanks for joining. Kelly, I have a pug under my feet and he's hungry. I don't know what I'm going to do when I go back to work and my dogs have to be at home all day by themselves. I told my mothers that I would hire them to come take care of my babies because I don't think they're going to handle it too well. They're getting on a set schedule of getting what they want when they want. All right, so I'm going to quit there. Now, I do want to, this is a little tricky. So ones that are going horizontal, if you wanted on the edges, you could color or shade a little bit to give yourself a little dimension, like they're overlapping. Now, if you wanted, and we're doing the horizontal ones because they would be the ones weaving in and out. So that gives you a little bit of dimension there. Makes it a little 3D. And again, If you want to take your tissue, I just rolled it up, twisted it nice and tight, folded it, and I'm going to watch myself here. I'm going to blend that a little and make it look like it's a cast shadow. Ooh. From the ribbon that is going over it. So you guys don't have to have any kind of like expensive, amazing tools to create amazing artwork. Some of the best things are done just by using pencil and paper. My rule of thumb, and I've been saying it throughout this class, you know, don't use scrap paper because chances are you'll throw it away. You know, use a good sheet of paper. Create a little scrapbook of yourself, or for yourself, of things you're doing during this time. I have 3 sketchbooks that I've been doing different projects in, doing different classes with, and, you know, it'll be a good reminder. You know, and another suggestion is, what we have today, if you're doing it and keeping it in a folder, put the date on it and share it. You know, put it in a folder and keep it. And, you know, someday when you refer to it, you can remember what you were doing and when you were doing it. You know, the other thing is you can time yourself doing these. Maybe you want to give yourself 15 minutes a day. You're giving yourself 30 right now with me. Maybe you want to give yourself 45 minutes, half hour with me to learn some tangles, and then 15 to do your own. You know, whatever works for you guys. Just take a little bit of time for yourselves and be creative. You know, I had a bad day yesterday, and it's difficult to, you know, it's difficult to get over bad days, but luckily today is a new day. I'd be happier if the sun was shining. But it is what it is. This can't last forever. And, you know, there's a lot of amazing people out there that you could talk to if you need help. Or sit down and draw some artwork. So I'm just going to take some of the tangles that I learned, and I'm going to recreate them and give myself a pattern here. So I'm going to urge you to do the same. We are done for the day. I shared 3 tangles with you. If you have any questions, by all means, reach out to me on the Facebook page. Share what you've done with me. Kelly shared yesterday. Thank you, Kelly, for that. If anybody else wants to share, I'd love to see, you know, what you're doodling. Here's a note from a follower. Dollar General sells a kit of pencils, charcoal and graphite, and those little tools that you keep talking about. Yeah, the tortillions and erasers. Well, that's very cool to know. I really haven't been out much. And these, you can buy them pretty inexpensive at arts and craft stores whenever you can get out. So, you know, if you have a Dollar General and you're out and about picking up some necessities, you could check out for those. Thanks for the tip, Nancy. I appreciate that. You know, they're nice just because the points are a little finer and you can get in there a little bit better. But, you know, my tissue worked pretty good for what I was doing. Although I think tissues might be a hot commodity now too, so maybe we don't want to waste tissues. I'm not sure. Well, that's all I have for you today. I don't know. Tomorrow we'll be doing, you know, some more organic patterns, which I love. I like a little bit of free form, free flowing pattern. So we'll do that tomorrow. And if anybody else has anything they want to share or anything they want to tell the group, I'd be happy to, you know, relay that message. I am just going to kind of work on my design here, and I'll sign off in a minute. Just remember, you don't always have to go with a square, but if you want to, you can. I'm not sure what I'll fill in there. Maybe we'll do the ones we did yesterday. All right, well, I have kept you for 30 minutes. I hope to see you tomorrow. Again, we'll be doing some more organic patterns. So, I mean, if you want to hang on for a few, you are absolutely welcome to. I might just draw for a minute. I'm going to do a version of our tangle from yesterday. And I will, thanks Marion, I will catch you all tomorrow. Stay safe, and I hope you're all doing something fun and creative. All right, everyone, I'm signing off. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow.